What was it that really made you fall in love with Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead, or Rockstar games in general? Was it the big sprawling cinematic storyline? Was it the characters? Was it the online experiences with friends? Or is it the place itself? I've spoken about this briefly before, but the biggest thing that Rockstar does better than anybody on Earth is they create a sense of location, a sense of place that really does grip you in. You want to live in these places for all of their rundown nature. At times. You want to live in Liberty City, you want to live in San Andreas, and I can tell you from screenshots and trailers alone, I want to live in Leonida, and that is a huge thing that Rockstar does perfectly. But how do they do that? We've spoken about this before, about how Rockstar builds little things into their world that really shouldn't matter, but do. It's what makes it feel like a living, breathing world, and one of the things that I think gets overlooked more than anything else in these games is something that Rockstar spent a lot of time on. What I'm referring to is the in-game television, films, and everything else that they put into this world to make it feel like its own living, breathing space. And ultimately, what I want to come to the conclusion of is, how does this affect GTA 6 in at least the world building aspect? So please sit down, grab your dinner, grab a snack, and come with me for the next little bit on this little journey while I talk about some stuff that maybe you've missed. I want to take you back to 2008. I've just picked up Grand Theft Auto 4, I've gone home, put it in my Xbox, played the opening 12-hour gameplay session that I cannot put down, and followed a bunch of story missions, and wandered around here and there and done a few side activities when I go back to an apartment, and I see for the first time there's this pop-up that tells me I can watch television. Now, as someone that grew up with Max Payne and a few other games, these kind of concepts weren't exactly alien to me, but I never expected much of it. And then I discovered what I was in for. Let's just very quickly talk about something here which I think is important to address. The average time to complete Grand Theft Auto 4 is about 27-28 hours. That's a pretty long story mode, I'll be honest with you. Some people will say that's short, but that's a pretty hefty story mode. But did you know that this television has damn near 2 hours of programming? Yeah, it's not that long when you sort of just say it, but 2 hours for something that is such a small side thing that realistically not many people will sit down and fully watch. And yet there is 2 hours of very distinctive programming right here in the apartment where I never need to leave. Being the person that I am, of course I sat down and I watched all 2 hours of it because I loved television and I always have done. And this was something completely new. I had never seen programming on a television like this before. By contrast, Max Payne had a few small sort of vignette style programs which are mostly just cut together from a few sort of static screenshots and a very interesting narration standpoint that parodies a few different things, but this was a completely different thing. And of course this fits the age of machinima content. Machinima, in case you don't remember, besides being a god-awful YouTube channel, was what we used to call people who made game footage kind of storyline stuff. Ones that sort of stick in my mind even today, obviously Red vs. Blue and Dude Where's My Mount, for some reason still resonate in the back of my head. This was a natural evolution to everything that we had started to kind of do online. Here's Rockstar with this entire game engine at their disposal, really putting in the work to making original programming, as weird as that sounds, that parodies the decade that we're in. So let's very quickly touch on a few of these. I'm not going to touch on all of them, and I'm going to try and whiz through because otherwise this video could honestly be 2 hours long, and I don't want it to be. I want it to give us reference points that we're going to come back to later in 5, because there's some evolutionary stuff here that I think is really interesting. Okay, so the first television show we're going to talk about, and keep an open mind here and please stick with me, is Ventura's Poker Challenge. Now, I know what you're thinking, and please don't leave, listen to me, hear me out. This is an important one, at least for me, and I'll tell you why. Back in the late 2000s, I remember the world having this new obsessive boom with poker. You couldn't turn but find a poker room or casino or online thing somewhere. The World Series of Poker was blowing up, it was getting televised on TV, and I remember this slew of late night television of high stakes poker stuff, and I'll be honest with you, I was a fan of it. I thought it was good shit, but it has an audience, and for the most part it's a bunch of dudes sat in a room swapping some stories, playing poker, looking bored, and my god, did this show take me back to that. Almost like a time capsule that was perfect in every way. It sent it flowing back into my brain like, oh my god, here's high stake poker. Yes, I completely forgot about this show. And it captures it perfectly, from the really dull narration that's trying to make it sound even more interesting than it is.
It's all in the river. Oh, this is what we live for. Wow, luck has really shined on Cockshore Chris Cummings.
To the constant screen grabs and stings and everything else that's happening on the screen to try and amp up the drama. It's perfect. I'm not going to go on about this one too much, but it's definitely the one I wanted to start with because I feel like it adds something to this world. And something that I really love is that you can clearly tell that this is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. What you're seeing is Las Venturas, and that's awesome to see. It's in the old engine. It's very clearly filmed, in quotations, on those areas of the game map, and this is cool to see. I love this bit of world building that we have a show shot in Las Venturas. I love this. This is so stupid, but so good.
This is CNT.
Let's take a minute to appreciate the fact that they even included adverts in this, in between the programming, literally purposefully to sell the world building of this world. And I'm gonna just let this play because I think it's a great advert, and B, I don't want to interrupt how good the jokes are, so I'm just gonna let this one play, and when we're done I'll talk about it.
My name is Stephanie Pearson. I tried dating, but it mostly ended in me just getting desperate and blowing homeless guys. Then I met Nathan on lovemeat.net. We totally hit it off. Then he slit my throat and killed himself. Now we'll be together forever. Thanks, Love Meat.
Meet the man, woman, or beast of your dreams. Meeting someone is as easy as logging on, paying for a lifetime subscription, and receiving emails from the worst dregs of society you always feared were out there. lovemeat.net.
So if you've played GTA 4, you know that part of the storyline is to go on lovemeat.com and do some of the stuff on there, and I won't get into that too much because that kind of gives away the game if you haven't played it, but this is a really cool bit of world building to show that it's more than just a storyline thing. It exists in this world, it is physically there, and oh my god, do I love that this is the way that we perceived online dating in the 2000s. It's 100% accurate. I can't even imagine back in 2007 admitting to someone that you had an online dating profile. It was seen as this sad weirdo thing to do, and this is 100% accurate. Nowadays we live in an age of, Tinder and Bumble and what the fuck do you use for dating? But the point is that dating has moved into a more this is how things are state, and back at the time when this was made, it was still really looked down upon. And I think it's a great bit of world building to include the fact that this website is in the game and we can go there and we can look at it. I love this. I genuinely love this so much. Next up, let's talk about the Republican Space Rangers. Now, I am not going to get into the politics of this here, even though this is a very heavily political commentary style piece, but what I will say is it's a really fun little bit of satire aimed at certain viewpoints. And don't worry, we'll get into the balancing act of the other viewpoints being addressed, because they do get addressed in the next game, which brings the balance of impotent rage in to outweigh this one. What this does do is hit on a lot of stereotypes and ideologies that were prevalent in 2005-2006 America after the events of 9/11. And honestly, who can blame it? It was a massive, monumental thing that changed the entire shape of the world. There's a lot of fun gags here and a lot of overarching ideas, but the main story takeaway is that this is 3 intergalactic space rangers who are stopping aliens coming to Earth. It's on the nose, yes, but it's genius and it's good, and it gives us our first real original IP that is basically just that. It's a characterization that's going to exist in the world, and it would be a good time to put a pin in this, and we'll come back to this later where it's more fleshed out. Now, I'm going to whiz through two of these really quickly because they're great and they say a lot about culture, but I don't want to spend too long on this, and I'm already at like 10 minutes and it's taking forever, and I want to spend so much more time on this. But okay, something that was massive in the 2000s was celebrity culture and celebrity gossip, and we couldn't get enough of it, with stuff like TMZ constantly throwing it down our throats of what celebrities were up to, Cribs showing us how the better half was living, and everything in our culture swaying us towards talking about gossiping celebrities. This show about rich kids in Liberty City is just perfect. It encapsulates everything in that 90210 genre and era, and absolute exuberance to the extreme, with 20,000 sports cars and all the money in the big houses. It's perfect, it says a lot about it, and it also sets the tonality that celebrities exist in this world. I mean, we knew that anyway, but it gives us more of a look, even here they're hounded by the media, and I think that's great. A second one I want to talk about quickly is how about an entire documentary on the history of how Liberty City became Liberty City. It's dumb, it's stupid, and it's great, and honest to God, you should watch it if you haven't. Definitely do. The commentary is phenomenal, the scripting work is great, and the storyline is just bizarre, but it's so good. Once again, giving us that full world building that we're looking for of how we even got here. Who asked? Nobody, but they did it anyway. Alright, that's been long enough of me talking about a show. Let's go to a commercial, because that's definitely needed by now. So how about one for, I don't know, a fake branded beer that everyone knows?
Last night I think I shit the bed. Got so drunk I gave a dude head. Life is just a merciful blur when you pop a Pisswasser. Pisswasser, don't drink it slow. 3 a.m. buy some blow. Sleep in the bathroom on the floor. What really matters anymore? All the crap you do all day. Who fucking cares? Anyway, Pisswasser, this is beer. Drive drunk off of beer. Pisswasser, drink all day. It helps your troubles go away. Yeah, yeah. Pisswasser, cheap German lager for export only.
Did you ever think to yourself, I need a beer commercial for a fake beer that I can't even drink? I mean, you can, but you can't personally. No, me neither, but it adds a lot, right? It gives us an impression of the target audience for this beer. I think that's great. I think it's a really nice little touch, and it's a fucking great advert. Let's not even beat around the bush. It's so good. I have no issues with this. 10 out of 10, Pisswasser all day. Hell yeah. Okay, on to the last thing I'm going to touch on, GTA 4, and it's the big one I've been saving for last, so let's get to it.
Recorded live from the capital of the world, Liberty City, the famous Split Sides Comedy Club invites you to light up and bring the love to the comedy club where the drinks ain't cheap. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Cat Williams.
Thank you.
This is the thing that when I was playing Grand Theft Auto 4 when it first came out when I was 17 years old, that really sold me on everything. I had just turned on the television and the first thing I saw was a Cat Williams routine from a comedy club. And at the time, I hadn't quite got to the second island yet. I was still milling around on the first island and having fun, and I wasn't aware there was an actual comedy club in Liberty City, so I'm just watching this show of Cat Williams doing stand-up, which, by the way, again, amazing piece of 2000s sort of style programming here. This is something that we had a lot with. Jongleurs would be the closest thing I could think of over here in the UK. I'm not too sure about the US, but this fits that era perfectly of us embracing new stand-up. And as a white boy from the UK in the 2000s, I had never heard of Cat Williams before. I wasn't even fully aware this was a real stand-up comedian yet. So I'm sat there watching it going, this is great. What a great routine. I love this. And at the end of this show, we're treated with a promotional bumper that says, hey, hey, come and check out Cat Williams down at the Split Sides Comedy Club. I thought nothing of it, genuinely. I didn't think anything of it until I ran across the building in a few hours' time when I got onto Island 2 and realized that this was real. This was a real physical place I could go to and I could watch real physical stand-up. And it was at that point that I also decided to look up who Cat Williams was. My mind was completely blown that this real-life stand-up doing real-life routines had adapted and changed things for this fictional make-believe New York. And I think this is gorgeous world building. It gives a real sense of place that these touring comedians come around. And honestly, the fact that Ricky Gervais is there as well, it gave UK audiences a sense of, oh yeah, okay, I know who Ricky Gervais is. I think it's great. I just think it's phenomenal. I love this endlessly, and I love that it was put in a way that allows you to discover it before you even get to that second part of the game. Truly great world building, and honestly, one of my favorite little things that's ever been included in a video game, ever. Let's get on a plane and get over to Los Santos now, because I feel like it's time to talk about how much better things get. And GTA 5 really steps up the world building and everything that I'm talking about to a next level degree. I'm going to kick off with one of the shows that's possibly my favorite, which is the Underbelly of Paradise. And the simple reason for that is this. Number one, this world building is, oh my god, it gives us all of the gangs, bad areas, people of notability, and of course it's presented by a character that we meet through the main storyline. This is such good world building and very reminiscent of those late 2000s shows about cops and like Dog the Bounty Hunter and so many gang documentaries that are on television literally all the time. This really does hit the pinnacle of the genre in my opinion, which is that from the start of the game you could literally sit down and learn about every gang in this city. And yes, I know a lot of you probably know who all of these gangs are just because you've played the games, but let's take it from a standpoint of someone who's never played a GTA game before, who's never gone through the Grove Street families, who's never come through San Andreas or 4 or any of the previous stuff. This gives us everything we need to know from the get-go. Areas, turfs, who they are, what they look like, what they wear. It's beautiful and it's so good and so funny as well. Not to mention it brings up Leonora Johnson, who's one of the most fun in-game mysteries I think that there is. I love these little context clues and showing you there's a website that you could then go and visit. All of these things that I'm not going to touch on too much in case you've never done it. Go and experience it. This is amazing. Trust me, it's worth every second of your attention. Go and check it out. Quickly, let's get on to this advert from the Los Santos Tourism Department. This really does give a sense of place and show you everything that is in the surrounding areas very quickly as a spoof kind of come and hang out in Los Santos. It's a shithole, you won't like it, but it's the place where dreams are, totally. Honestly, spoofs Californian tourism videos perfectly down to the wire. Gives you ideas on places that there are, and again, let's pretend that you haven't ventured out of the house yet. You can see all of these places in the game, obviously made in the actual game itself. This really does set a lot of tonality towards how this game takes itself, and it's perfection once again. World building 101. Okay, let's get on to the big section here, which is the animated portion of the TV shows in GTA 5. We have Republican Space Rangers making a return from 4. We have Kung Fu Rainbow Laser Force, Moorhead Rides Again, Impotent Rage, and Princess Robot Bubblegum. All of these with their own unique distinct identities and flavors and characterizations, and they all have their own individual messages. We've already covered Republican Space Rangers, so let's get into its counterpart, which would be Impotent Rage. Impotent Rage is about a superhero liberal that likes to defend the rights of every person, but is a flaccid penis of a man. Again, on the nose, but perfection. Moorhead Rides Again is a detective series about a 1930s, 1940s kind of film noir detective that was very commonplace during the 1930s and 40s to have on television as a character. This wisecracking gumshoe detective that would be selling cigarettes to kids. It's on the nose. It's horrendously offensive in certain parts to races, cultures, and gender stereotypes, and it's fucking hilarious. It perfectly mirrors its source material, and its piss-taking is wonderful. Kung Fu Rainbow Laser Force is a bunch of school children who kind of are like the Power Rangers, but instead they're against teen sex and a bunch of other stuff. It's exactly what you expect it to be. It is trying to sort of Christianize this whole ideology. Meanwhile, the teacher is secretly in the closet. It's good. It's so good. Finally, we have Princess Robot Bubblegum, which I can't show a lot of because I'm not getting demonetized or fucking TOS breaking this week. It's not happening. But it is a parody of most animes you've ever seen, especially the magical schoolgirl style animes or maiden fighting warriors sort of animes. I'm not an anime connoisseur, but I've even seen these animes and I know what they're parodying, and it's phenomenal. The character designs are spot on. The entire narrative of it kind of being over-sexualized, overhyped. Everything's a double entendre. I love it. It's really good. It's really well made. But that's not the most important thing. The most important thing about all of these characters, literally everything, is the fact that you can find them littered in the world. From statues, to costumes, to real people doing cosplay down on the Vinewood Star Parade. They have billboards, they have all sorts of things that makes them ingrained in this world and this fandom outside of this television that makes it feel real. I can't even begin to sort of explain the amount of times that we've seen this kind of thing with very massive properties, especially Pokemon coming to mind right now. Like, how many times have we seen this? And it's there, it's built into the world, it's ingrained in the world, it is perfect. It does nothing besides exactly what it's supposed to, which is introduce characters unique to this world to have a fandom. Does it need to be there? No, of course it doesn't. Like, why would it? But doesn't it make this world feel more alive knowing it has its own identity? It has its own intellectual properties. It is its own thing. Who asked for this? Like, literally no one asked for this, but this is the amount of work that they went in and did. They created around about an hour worth of programming of beautiful hand-drawn animation to sell the fact that these characters are walking around Los Santos in different shapes and forms. I fucking adore this. This is perfection when it comes to world building. This takes everything I loved about the Comedy Club in 4 and adds a whole new level to it. And this, honestly, isn't even my favorite thing. My favorite thing is this last one we are going to talk about with 5, so here we go. To quickly give you some context here, Jack Howitzer is an 80s action star who has completely tanked his career by committing a crime, allegedly, and now he's on his way out of jail to recuperate that career. He's completely lost his mind, and this documentary follows Jack Howitzer's re-rise to fame. As someone who grew up on a diet of 80s action films, 80s action film stars, and everything about them, this speaks to me on such a deep level. I love the fact that they've got this washed up 80s action star who used to be big and has fallen on hard times, having a documentary made about him that he's on a comeback tour. It's golden fucking stuff. Jack Howitzer is Jack Howitzer in Jack Howitzer is the name of the show, and honestly, if you've ever been a fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Jean-Claude Van Damme, or anyone like that, God, I implore you to go and watch this. It is great. Jack has fallen on hard times after a stint in jail, and now his new manager is trying to give him a comeback. However, he's lost his mind, ended up with a sock puppet that's somehow doing therapy for him as his guide, and it's mental, crazy, stupid, but it's so clever. There is a star for Jack Howitzer on the Star Walk of Fame outside the Chinese style theater in Grand Theft Auto 5. You can see it there. It's a physical thing. This is a real celebrity. He lives here. He's from here. And I love this little thing that we get all of this history as to where he's gone, what ended up happening. But But all of this serves to sell one tiny, and I mean tiny bit of world building that I fell in love with when I saw it. I love going to the casino in Grand Theft Auto 5. I am a big fan of it, and I especially go there all the time online to play the slots and try my luck. And this right here gives me the context clues I need for the slot machines that I constantly see. This evacuator slot machine is one of Jack Howitzer's films. It's so small and minute, but my god, does having a connection to it make a difference? Maybe you're not a gambler, but I'm sure you've played pinball at some point in your life. You've seen those machines that are based off of like Terminator 2, Lord of the Rings, or some other property that you recognize and you want to play it just because those characters are there. This is amazing. Who asked for a washed up action star's slot machine to be so fucking important? And it doesn't need to be, but this is what I'm talking about. Everything here is connected. They spent an endless amount of time making sure that they got everything together, but it requires you to do a little bit of detective work. They're not just giving you the clues. I mean, you can kind of see it based off the machine. You can look at it and go, yeah, it's an 80s action film. But this gives you what you need. And I love this. I really do. It's unnecessary. It's silly, but it means so much that they bothered to do this. I have talked for nearly 30 minutes on why this stuff is important, and I promise you I'm getting to my ideas and predictions for 6 because I think I have a pretty good grasp on where this is going. But before we get there, I just want to say if you've watched this far, thank you so much for your time and attention. It is the number one thing that I can ask for from anyone that watches my stuff because I know it's not for everybody, and if you enjoy it and you're new here, feel free to hit the subscribe button. I am making videos weekly on this kind of stuff and more that links into GTA 6's release. So if this is what you enjoy, this is your bag, I would love to have you on board. So I've kept you on the hook for long enough. Where does this leave us for GTA 6? And that's a really valid question. Things have changed. This is not even about I don't know what Rockstar will do because I have a pretty good idea. The main problem I have is that we've drastically changed as a society since 2010, 2011, 2012, and it's kind of hard to understand exactly where we're at. Television in its conventional format that we knew back then is dead for the most part. Honestly, outside of sporting events and live things, we don't really watch television in the same way. Everything's streaming based, everything is a subscription model, and for the most part, none of us watch the same things anymore. There is no reality TV garbage filling our TVs up every day because it's not that profitable anymore. Yes, there's Love Island and the Kardashians and all that kind of garbage, but it's been going for so long at this point that it's nothing new to talk about. Now, what has drastically changed since 2013 is the rise of influencers and the rise of content creation online. Yes, it was there when GTA 5 came out, but it was nowhere near what it is today. Now, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry that is dominated by people every goddamn day. We have things like podcasts that were not that big back then. Now they're huge, sprawling fucking ideas that every Tom, Dick and Harry has. And I definitely think that podcasting will be something they put in their sights to have a go at, for sure. All the usual hallmarks will be there to different degrees: politics, race, religion, sex, and all that kind of stuff. It'll still be there. I just don't quite know how it will look. It won't just be television shows. It'll be multifaceted. It'll be podcasts, Twitter, or whatever the equivalent of Twitter is. It will be an Instagram sort of thing. It will be multifaceted. A big one that I honestly can't see them avoiding is taking shots at streaming services. The rise of Netflix gave birth to this god-awful climate we're in, where every bastard has a goddamn streaming platform. I mean, quite literally everybody. I think the best thing to do would be to take shots at that, and they could very easily create a catalog-based sort of thing. It's got the same feel that the TV has, but instead of it being always on, you just select what you want to watch, right? It's a pretty straightforward idea. The world building will all be built into this, and the platforms themselves that they use this time around will speak volumes beyond just what the content does. Rockstars are masters of their craft when it comes to this kind of stuff, and they know exactly how to parody the world that we're currently living in, how to hold up a mirror and really display it for all the facets and stupidity that it is. I 100% understand people being excited for the storyline, for the multiplayer, and everything that comes with that, but slow down is the one thing that I would implore you to do when you get this game finally, and enjoy the world building that's there in front of you, because I imagine without a shadow of a doubt it'll be unlike anything any of us have ever seen. So, I'm interested to know, what do you guys think that we'll be seeing in Grand Theft Auto 6? Do you think there will be streaming? Do you think we'll get YouTube and TikTok? Well, we know we're getting TikTok, but what do you guys think we're getting? I want to hear your thoughts and feelings. I really do, because I think this is an interesting part that we're not really talking about so much. I honestly could have spent 2 hours talking about this subject, so I believe there's an immense amount of it. And if it's something you want me to revisit in the future, let me know below, because I like to know what you guys want to see. Regardless, I will be here next week with another video. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.